Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the weekly wrap-up show, week 16. It's your boy Brett Swinney here. Alongside of me is Vincent Johnson, Corey Marshall, and Kyle Owens will be joining us here shortly. Fellas, what a week of football last weekend.
Big week. Big week of football. Big week.
So, guys, how'd y'all do in your picks last week? You know?
Don't recall. I only had 2 picks in last week. I didn't get a chance to do the other one of my picks. So I know I had Chapel Hill and Gilmer.
Chapel and Gilmer, okay. All right. I went 4-1. I missed the Dangerfield game. I had them winning. They lost in overtime. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Let's see. Vince had 2 as well. Let's Kyle had 4. He's not here, but he also had 4 with me. The overall pick'ems standings, guys. I got some unfortunate news, guys. Unfortunate news. There's somebody named Swinney at second place, but it's not me. Some guy named Drew Swinney with 113 in second place. he has caught Jason Shivers, and the lead is 2. So it's going to come down to this last week. And as we talk about pick'em picks, a guy that also had 4 out of 5 pick'ems this week, KO Kyle Owens. Welcome, Mr. 4-1. Joining me with, I also had 4-1 this week. Not bad.
Not a bad day at the office. Not a bad day at the office. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah.
A lot better than before?
Yeah.
Than this morning, I guess. Yeah, a lot better than this morning.
Yeah, this morning.
It was pretty fairly easy. If Dangerfield would have cooperated, we all would have went 5-0.
I know. Them Tigers.
I don't know. Just some people don't know how to play nice with everybody else. So, sometimes I don't like that.
I am sitting in 4th place now with 111. Kyle, where are you sitting down there?
I have no earthly idea.
You're at 107. You're in 9th place.
Okay, top 10. I'll take it.
Yeah, but there is a guy ahead of you that you may want to try to catch. That Eddie guy, yeah, he's 108.
I'm not worried about Eddie.
I will say too, our man Jeremy Hubbard, he forgot to pick last week, so he stayed down there.
Oh,
the epic fail.
It was hard to pick last week. I forgot.
He's busy. He's busy. He's got
that's why I
only
got 2 because I forgot when
I forgot to pick last week. So.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Start on Thursday or something like that. The game
started Thursday. Yeah.
And so one of them started, and then it hit me like, oh wait, I was supposed to do my picks, and I couldn't do but 2 of them. So. And I was like, man.
Yeah.
But those 2 were the most important 2 to me anyway. So.
Yeah, you got your important ones in, and that's what matters. Guys, there were some pretty good games last week. Let's kind of go through them here. We'll start on Thursday. There were 3 games on Thursday as Terry Buss and them boys ran off 4 straight touchdowns to come from 21-7 deficit to win 35-21. I kind of looked at that game because I was out, and I was like, man, surely we were at the basketball game. Me and Corey were like, wait, Timpson's losing 21-7? What's going on? And then Bussy put on the cape and let them back. So they're going to get to go for their first state championship. Were y'all paying attention? Did y'all notice the score? And I was a little surprised by the early score.
I saw the updated score
that
had them down. At the time I saw it, they were down 14. And then the next time I noticed the score, they had tied it already. So, but I was already shocked when I saw that they were down by 14. I was like, uh-oh, this is it. It's the last ride for Bussy. And lo and behold, Bussy, he does it again.
Can't doubt the Bussy.
Nah, man. Nah, I can't doubt him at all. That bus is always running.
I was bouncing back and forth between this game, the Malakoff game, and the Dangerfield game, kind of seeing which one was closer, which one was later in the game. But I turned on that Timpson game, and they were already down 21-7. I said, what is going on? Like, I turned it on because my dad had never seen Terry Bussy. Like, we've been talking about him, but he's never seen him play. I'm like, Pops, you got to see Bussy. Like, he's the truth. Then I turn it on. It's 21-7. I'm like, this isn't the Bussy I was talking about. This not this one. But yeah, I mean, Terry Bussy, he pulled that cape out and he would not be denied. He made sure that his team got to the state title game, and I'm happy for Timpson. Shout out to Coach Jermaine Lewis over at Timpson. He used to be the head girls basketball coach in Gladewater. He's now in Timpson. So shout out to Coach Lewis. Excited for him to get to go to state, and Coach Thurwanger, the head coach, excited for them. I'm excited for the community. I think Timpson's been on that edge, just like Chapel Hill has the past couple of years. They've gotten to that 5th round just a step away and just couldn't complete it. And so I think it's time for them to complete their story this year. And I fully prepare for them to do so.
And I think he's their coach is retiring as well.
Oh, okay.
I believe this is his last season.
Storybook ending then.
Retire with not a bad way to go out with a guy named Terry Bussy on your roster,
No.
Oh yeah.
So is he retiring because Bussy's graduating, or no? Just kidding.
I mean,
it's a great time to retire.
It would be a great time.
I mean, I think Terry Bussy lives with him, so
really,
yeah, I think that they adopted him. I think Bussy
Oh.
lives with the coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had no idea.
So Bussy may be taking
Yeah.
care of him for a while.
And you know, we talked about Gilmer, how they've dealt with some adversity this playoffs, off the field stuff. We're not going to get into it, but Timpson's had their own off the field issues that they've had to deal with this season too. So for them to be at this point with the amount of adversity that they've had to face this season, as well, is a testament to that coaching staff and that team.
Well, they had
stay
injuries and off the field stuff they've had.
Right.
You know, had Bussy out earlier. JJ Garner kind of led the charge for a few games. Then they had both of them for a while. Then Garner gets hurt. He comes back, and then he gets hurt again. So it's been an up and down kind of a roller coaster season for them, and it would be a nice way to honor all the people, the injured, the ones that are out, to get that state championship. And I feel like that for the whole community, I think Bussy is going to get that done. Game 2, guys, Brock and Malakoff. I kind of caught some of the ends of this game. Actually, me and Corey, we watched this game in the parking lot when it finished.
Actually, you watched the game in the parking lot. I was.
What were you doing?
I didn't watch the game.
Because Corey,
it was on the phone. It was like this on the phone. I was like, what is going on? But it was a good game. It was a good game.
He couldn't get his phone to work with his NFHS account. So I saw what the game was. So I went over to we were about to leave, and I like, hey, we got to watch the end of this game. So I went over and we watched it on my phone.
The cough.
And the cough.
Cough punched it in.
So what happened, I kind of heard the end of this game later. So Brock turned the ball over in their own I don't know what yard line it was, but they had the ball and they turned it over inside of their own 10 or 20 yard line, and then Malakoff was able to get, I think, Kyle's.
So I watched the end of it. So Brock was driving. It was tied. I want to say it was tied at 31, or it was close or something like that. And Brock was driving, was near midfield, and Doc Rimberg, number 10 for Malakoff, hit the quarterback as he was trying to throw, fumbled, and it went right into a lineman's arms for Malakoff. And Big Boy was hauling. Big Boy was moving. He said, "This is my moment. I'm going to score.
This is mine." Every lineman dreams of it. I see
he got tackled. He got tackled inside the 10, and then Mike Jones ran it in.
That's
with
what we
20
saw.
seconds left.
We came in as where they had the ball inside the 10. So
Brock had it near midfield and was driving, but Doc Rimberg knocked it loose, and it fell right into I don't know the kid's name, but it fell right into his arms. And he just took off hauling, and he got inside the 10. So it was a big defensive play for Malakoff. And really, watching the highlights back of that game that they showed, shout out to the Star, by the way. Their graphics department is phenomenal. But looking at the replays, the offense didn't do much for Malakoff. It was mostly the defense that scored. I think they had a pick 6 for a touchdown. They had that fumble return that got them inside the 10. So the offense really kind of struggled, didn't have their best game, and they still pulled it out. So, yeah, I'm shout out to Malakoff, man. They are that's awesome. That's going to be a great game between them and Franklin.
All right.
Yeah, I think they were 0-1. They wanted to beat Brock more than anything, and they got over that hump. So,
the next game we had was the Dangerfield Tidehaven game. This game was actually an overtime game. Tidehaven punches in OT. Kyle, did you get to see this one too? I guess
I saw the end of this one too. So I turned off the Timpson game because Bussy was down. Bussy and the Bears were down. So I turned it off, and I was watching I watched the end of the Dangerfield Tidehaven game first because it ended first. They were tied at 7, and Dangerfield was able to get a turnover and get it down. They forced Tidehaven to fumble. Dangerfield went down, scored, so it was 14-7. And then Tidehaven drove back down the field and scored to make it 14-14. So we went into overtime, and Tidehaven had the ball first, went down, scored. Dangerfield had it. It was like a 4th and 9 or something like that for Dangerfield. And the two best players for Dangerfield, Chase Johnson and Bubba Hampton, were involved. Chase threw a little, or Bubba ran like a little in pattern near the first down marker. Chase hit him. Bubba, it looks like from the angle, it looked like it hit his hands, and then he turned to try and make a play because it was 4th down, and just ended up dropping the ball. Didn't have the ball first. So tough way to lose if you're Dangerfield. I mean, I think if Dangerfield plays Tidehaven, and this is not a slight at Tidehaven, but I think if these two teams played 10 more times, Dangerfield will win 9 of them. I just think Dangerfield is the better team. They just didn't close it out, and I hate it for Dangerfield. I hate it for Bubba and for Chase and that whole team. But I mean, nothing to hang your head down about. You made it to the 5th round of the playoffs in a year where you were picked to win the district, but nobody probably picked you to go that far. So shout out to Dangerfield. Tough season for them, but they're on to round ball, and they'll be formidable in round ball too. So I wouldn't overlook Dangerfield.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep it light. I'm gonna keep it light. I'm gonna be on the. I'm gonna keep it real light. I did have a lot of disrespect in my mind, but I feel bad for those kids that I've been picking Dangerfield all year, and I wanted to be East Texas sweep, and they were only team that didn't get it done, and I feel bad for those kids after everything they've gone through. But shout out to Dangerfield on a good year.
Yeah, my main thing was I thought that this game wasn't going to be an easy one, but I thought Dangerfield was, like Kyle said, the superior team, and I just feel like that. I don't know if it's did Tidehaven just have those good athletes, Kyle, or they just weren't able to. Because with the Dangerfield team that I saw a few weeks ago, I just didn't see anybody stopping them unless they could match up with the speed and athleticism and the size that they had.
Well, that's one thing about Region 4 down there in 3AD2. Last year, Harmony ran into the same thing when they had to play Poth in the state semifinal. Harmony was scoring all these points in the playoffs, and come that 5th round game, Poth shut them down. And same thing, I think Tidehaven and Poth, that area, they pride themselves on defense. Like they're not going to outscore you. They're going to make you outscore them. And Tidehaven's defense was playing really good. They weren't letting Bubba Hampton get those open plays and make those explosive plays. They kind of contained Chase too, didn't let him really kind of run around. They just played really sound defense. Now, they're going to have to play extremely well against Gunner to have a chance. But, I mean, defense travels. We talk about all the time, Vince. The run game and defense, that travels. So it's not going to be a pushover, I don't think. But I think that's what it came down to is Tidehaven's defense was just stout. And, I mean, if you hold Dangerfield to 14 points, I think there's only one other team that did that this year. It was probably Timpson. So, yeah, it's tough loss for Dangerfield.
Yeah.
All right. Game 4 next up would be the game I called, Chapel Hill and Davenport. Kyle was there as well. This game ended up being 56-33, but it wasn't even that close. Davenport's last touchdown was on the second team, complete second team. And honestly, minus 2 blown coverages. And in the other touchdown was a ridiculously good play call on 4th down. That screen, Colin, if you remember that play, he was so open. I don't know if I've ever seen a screen that open in my life.
Any one of us on this chat could have scored on that screen.
I mean, my gosh, you had 2 big uglies in front of you, and the nearest person for Chapel Hill was almost in the end zone. I mean, they didn't really have to even block. Yeah. One of the best calls I've ever seen. I mean, they schemed it, and it was a perfect play call. But really, other than that, they had some certain plays. But Chapel Hill's defense pretty much dominated. Like I said, the score is not indicative of how dominant the Chapel Hill defense was. They really shut down a high-powered Davenport team that had really shown they could throw the ball around the yard. But when Chapel Hill stayed with their man in coverage, they made it really hard for Davenport to move the ball.
Well, that's the problem when you just take Eddie's numbers as gospel, because that's not watching the game. Like, yes, Chapel Hill gave up 33 points, but when you watch the game, it was big plays that and blown coverages or blown assignments that caused those scores. It wasn't Davenport never drove the field and scored. It was always a blown coverage or a big play that Davenport was able to score on. So that's where the stats are a little skewed, because it shows on the scoreboard they gave up 33. But like you said, the last touchdown came with backups in, and the other 3 touchdowns were on blown coverages. So they never drove the field. So Like we said this morning, though, Chapel Hill's defense has been playing a lot better here recently, and defense will win you championships. We know Chapel Hill can score. We know Chapel Hill can put up points. That's not been an issue. And I think the offense is rolling kind of a little better right now. They're kind of starting to click on all cylinders. So I think this is a great game for Chapel Hill. Just impressed with the tenacity that Chapel Hill showed all night long. They didn't let up. Even when that game was 21-20 at halftime, it didn't feel like it was 21-20. Like it felt like Chapel Hill was in control from the opening kickoff. So it was a fun game to be at. McLean Stadium's awesome. Coach Reardon, after the game, he didn't want to get water dumped on him. So he walked behind the bench and dumped over the Gatorade buckets so nobody could dump water on him. But they had an extra Gatorade bucket with water and ice in it that he couldn't get to. But I thought it was funny. There's still 3 minutes left in the game. He's walking over, knocking over Gatorade things so he doesn't get dumped with water. But yeah, it was a fun game. And I'm happy for Chapel Hill. They got over that hump. Third time's a charm. Now, and like Javen Mayfield said after the game, let's go get a ring, baby. Let's go get a ring.
Said, bring me. No, I mean, I didn't want to seem that way of that guy. I thought Davenport, typically their game plan is one of what I thought our weaknesses were as our secondary. Not saying our secondary is bad, but, you got to stop the run in the playoffs. If I can force you to pass the football, that's fine, but I'll take my chances there, but I'm not going to let you run the football, control the clock. But defense has been a bell cow. Offense is going to take care of itself. Eventually we'll find the end zone if we can, if we get an opportunity to score, we can do that. Defense has been their bell cow this offseason. Our Colony was averaging 48 points a game. They only scored 21. This team was just scoring 46 points a game. They only went 33. If you really want to get technical, it was 26. You know what I'm saying? Defense is still doing do your job. If you're keeping teams under the averages, do that. And me and Vince were talking about this earlier as well. We said, who's the toughest team Chapel had to face this year? It's probably Kilgore. Lindell gave them everything they wanted. And I think Lindell I'm not gonna lie, I think Lindell probably has one of the best offensive line units per size in the state. Like real talk. You don't have an Alabama offensive lineman as a left tackle, and the other right tackle is just as big. Like they're a college size offensive line. Let's be honest. That prepares you for the playoffs and for the teams that you have to face. And I think Kilgore's defense, with Coach Fuller and those guys, and he's a defensive coach, and you play against a worthy opponent, they know how to play. But who plays per region? Teams play similar styles in the region. Everybody knows that. And Kilgore plays a tough style, and that's what Chapel Hill is used to. And they've Coach Ridden, of course he knows the region well. He knows the teams you have to play, and he scheduled the game accordingly. So it's not going to be anything this team hasn't seen before in Davenport. You have to keep play defense, and control the controllables. But like I said before, the defense has been playing well. So bend but don't break, and they've had quarters where they shut down teams, and you got to do that to win championships. And right now they're going to be playing for a state championship, and winning beating Davenport wasn't the goal. Winning the championship was the goal. So they got one more. They're 1-0 each week, and that's exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. Are you jamming to the fight song there, Corey? What are you?
I was just saying 1-0, 1-0.
Okay, he's got his towel.
Right. Yeah, his towel ready. Yeah.
It's actually a scarf. It's actually one of my favorite scarves. I never wear it. I just put it in I got it for a Christmas gift. I put it in my scarf thing in my closet.
Well, the last game of our pick'em, Gilmer all over Glen Rose, 79-42, guys.
Glen Rose.
Glen Rose. They were
who?
Glenn, yeah, that team. Remember that team that Christian picked them to beat Carthage?
I was about to say there was somebody on here that not on here right now, but there was somebody in our group here that thought Glen Rose was going to win it all.
Well, they got all they wanted from Gilmer and some 79-42. That's in the playoffs, man. There wasn't any defense played in this one.
Not just in the playoffs, in the state semifinals, a step away from state.
That could be a points record or close to one. I mean,
it was. I heard Tepper say this on Bally. He said it was I think he said the second most points that Gilmer's ever scored in a playoff game.
Wow. Okay.
So, there you go.
It's a good time to score it. They might have needed to save a few of those for next week, but we'll see. But guys, talking about peaking at the right time. We've talked about Chapel Hill, but here comes Gilmer. I mean, they're right there. They're one game away, and I don't think they're going to play their toughest opponent that they've played all season. You know, they've played PG. Of course, PG beat them. And they beat Carthage. They played Chapel Hill. They played Kilgore. I don't know if Belleville's
played Lindale.
In Lindale, I don't think Belleville's as good as. Well, I don't know about Lindale. Lindale's in. I don't know. I'm not sure. They're good. I don't know.
Lindale lost to a state finalist by 3 and beat the other state finalist.
Okay.
So I'm just saying.
It was a good win.
Put some respect on Lindale's name.
It was a good win. Okay, it was a good win. I'm just saying, I think Gilmer has played a lot of teams that were better than Belleville. I think they're prepared for this game. I think the question will be whether or not they'll be able to stop that run and stuff. But this week, man, if you're Gilmer right now, I mean, we kind of thought at the beginning of the season that we expected Chapel Hill to be here. Not that we knew they were going to make it. I don't know if not many people in Gilmer expected them to be in this state game. They can probably tell you that all day long, but they're in the back of their minds, they were thinking, oh, Carthage is going to win. I mean, you lose that many times to Carthage, and then you have PG in your district. I don't think they expected to be here. But I think they're there. And when you see Gilmer in AT&T Stadium, you know they're going to come out to play. They've been there before. So, man, I'm excited for Coach Metzler and their program. I mean, this is a cool thing. I'm just glad that somebody from East Texas made it out, and they got to go represent.
So I think the last time that Gilmer was at state was 2020 when they played Carthage, and that just happened to be the game before the Lindale-Argyle game. So me and Jeremy were there, and we watched that game. Gilmer got up 14-0 on Carthage early on in that state game. They didn't score the rest of the game. Got blown out. So I'm sure Coach Betzel and staff remember that and remember that they didn't play their best football on the state stage last time and will want to correct that. Gilmer, I think probably you're right. They've beat some incredible teams on this run and lost to incredible teams like Pleasant Grove, one of the better teams in the state. You could argue is deserving of being in Arlington. They faced Carthage in the third round. That's tough. But then Gilmer beat Carthage. Gilmer's got that pedigree, that state championship pedigree, where it's not as severe as Carthage, but like when they get off the bus, when you see Gilmer in that orange and black come into the stadium, you know you're in for a fight. You know it's going to be, I almost said 60 minutes, 48 minutes of fighting with the Gilmer Buckeyes. So, I mean, they've made it this far playing with house money, I think. I'm with you, Brett. I think at the beginning of the year, like I said earlier, you would have told me Gilmer would have been the state championship game after that Chapel Hill game. I would have told you were high. Like that absolutely no way. But Will Henderson has really come on. Caden Tennyson has really come on. Aaron Bell and company on defense has started playing a lot better. I'm proud of Gilmer. I think they're doing great, playing through some adversity, some off the field stuff that they're having to deal with as well. I think it's brought them together as a team, and that's powerful, man. That's powerful. I fully expect them to finish what they've started, an improbable run. And I know it's for Gilmer, it's improbable is kind of, they don't go hand in hand because Gilmer has always been successful in football. But the way they started the year 0-2 and just the way they were playing middle of the year, just not playing impressive at all, then getting blown out by PG, it didn't look good for the Gilmer Buckeyes. But here we are, final week of the high school football season, still talking about the Gilmer Buckeyes. So congrats.
Mm-hmm. I said it earlier. I said, well, maybe not this year, but I wouldn't want to play Gilmer next year. Dang, I mean, they're looking late. They're a year ahead, right? And I mean, listen, it's not a bad time. It's not a bad thing to lose against three. First of all, I'm gonna say this. I should have said this first. Gilmer started out in the top 5 in the state in Class 2A. So I mean, making to the state, if you start off in the top 10, like your expectations are higher than the bottom half, right? I can understand if they weren't ranked in the top 10 at all. So I mean, their expectation was still a little bit high. They probably got a legacy ranking, but I mean, nonetheless, it's still Gilmer. I thought for a team that young, I thought they still put up a fight. They got better as the year progressed. They put away teams they were supposed to put away. That's a part of learning and winning football games. You don't have to reteach those kids how to win. Winning is a part of the program. Like, it's an expectation. So you may have to, get their focus right. You know what I'm saying? But the expectation of winning is contagious. So they know how to win football games. It's just a part of the pedigree. They've been there before. But nonetheless, man, I don't think it's a surprise to me because I thought PG was just the better team all the way around. I thought PG was just they were the bell cow. That team was stacked. I had 10 D1 guys, 7, 8, 10 D1 guys. I mean, not mid-major. I'm talking about high-level D1 players, and they ran through everybody. But the Big Red Sea came through and then took them out, and that was a surprising win to me. It was, except for Vince. But nonetheless, man, I'm happy for Gilmer. Like, that's an accomplishment to start off, and everyone's talking about not being that team or not being that the same Gilmer Buckeyes that we're used to seeing. Because I mean, what thought Gilmer was going to lose 3 games in the first, or lose 2 games in the first 5 weeks? That was almost unheard of. So shout out to Gilmer for making it. I'm still going for him. Ain't no love lost there. Ain't no bad blood in between anybody, and still think it's an East Texas sweep. But as long as they're rocking, I'm rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that there's a nice little 4A, a nice 4A Division 1, Division 2 championship in East Texas. That way, East Texas can have the biggest bragging rights. Like, the 4A runs through East Texas, right? So, and it's as it should, but. I think it will be. I think Gilmer's playing at the right time and Chapel's playing at the right time. It's just a good time to be a Gil, Buckeye, or Bulldog, or anywhere in East Texas Class 4A. It's going to be tough next year. Dang, it's going to be tough.
I feel like this season's gone so fast, fellas. I mean, we're wrapping up the state semifinals. We'll have one more show next week on Wednesday, and reminds me here is. Vince won't be with us next week. Vince, you're going to be adding an addition to your family next week. It's shout out to Vince.
Yeah, man.
The father of
Appreciate
2 girls.
that.
So Vince, you're going to be outnumbered 3-1 there. How are you feeling about
that? Man, listen. From the time Chloe got here, I was already outnumbered, and she alone beats me. So I'm used to it by now. That's why I work all the time. I stay busy.
Well, you're gonna be pretty busy at dad duty for a while. So you may be invisible, Vince, for a while, but maybe you can sneak out. Knowing the some point here in the next little bit, we're gonna have a realignment show. We'll have to talk about realignment. So maybe you'll be able to sneak out and talk realignment. This gonna be a big topic of conversation here coming up after the season's over. But
the only thing I'm realigning is the diapers. The trash can line on the diaper thing. That's the only thing.
Trash can liners. Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm realigning.
I'm sure he'll want an escape from that for a few hours. Really get away from that. But anyways, that's going to pretty much wrap up this week's show. Again, we'll have our final wrap-up show. We'll wrap up the state championships and the whole season. We'll also have a final poll next week. So we'll can redo our rankings of how everyone did in the playoffs, and we'll have a little final poll to talk about as we close down the football season. We have basketball starting up here now. We've got I think we have a game the center guys are starting some games. They got games this week and next week, and I think we have one more game this calendar year, and then we'll start up real consistently on Tuesday and Friday nights. Kyle is officially going to be doing some basketball with us this time, and he's did a few games in the tournament. Got his blood flowing a little bit, and you're ready to go there, Kyle, aren't you?
Yes. Let me not be disrespectful. Yes, I'm ready to go. I was going to say, as long as we don't see some of the teams we saw at the Invitational tournament.
Hey, but you got a good slate of teams we're gonna have. We already have a few for you to pick up, and then you're gonna add some other ones on your schedule. So there's some pretty good. I think Mount Pleasant, and we're gonna we're gonna let you have some Mount Pleasant and Lindale and maybe some Mount Pleasant, Chapel Hill. You said Rains, maybe. That's a lot of good team. We try to get Harmony if we can get some service in their gym. So lots of good games, and you're going to have a familiar face that's going to come back with you. Maybe do a couple games, right?
Yeah, my good buddy Jeremy may make the trip down from the Triple D and come down and do a few games. So it'll be fun to get the band back together for that. But I'll tell you what I'm most excited about, Brett.
Oh, I am too. I know you're going with this.
January 5th, the American Airlines Center. That's going to be dope.
Yeah. Oh, you stole Corey's line.
That's so dope.
Hey, it's that's a nice ring. That's so dope. It's a nice ring. It's still available on Apple and iTunes, man. Check us out.
I still ain't been invited on the podcast, so
they ain't had one.
We still working, man. We still got some grinding, man. We got Vince having a can't stop Vince having a baby and everything. It's like, hey, man, it's tough. It's scary hours.
JD baby is what? She about one now?
Yeah, so it's like we got papas and papas. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's so dope in them. That's what it is.
Yeah, I know.
You need Terry Bussey on the show. That's so dope in them. Bussey and them on dope. On That's So Dope.
On dope. Oh, that's so dope. Yeah,
I was about to say, hold on.
Yeah, I see it right. Well, I said it out loud.
Look, breaking news. NETSN says Terry Bussey is on dope. Whoa.
More breaking news. More breaking news. NETSN is now canceled.
Yeah.
Further breaking news.
Nah, been dropped from scholarship.
Disrespect will be televised. We got lots of good things coming up. So we'll have lots of.
Just say scholarship. Okay, I got to say, y'all seen the movie Pineapple Express, right?
Yeah.
All right. Remember when he goes and they finally go see MacGyver, Denny McBride? He's like, "What are you doing? Trying to get a scholarship?"
That movie was on a minute ago too. I'd seen that movie so many times. I didn't even turn it off.
My brain is random. Why did I bring it up?
Along with the basketball hoops, we've also got some hopefully some off the ropes coming up here shortly, Kyle. We got lots to talk about. A lot of things happening in the world of wrestling. So if you like wrestling,
I gotta catch up.
Yeah, I know. It's coming up.
No family, no kids. I'm all caught up on my wrestling.
I'm pretty caught up. I've got to catch up before I go to the show Wednesday night.
Tonight.
Tonight. I'm being two places at once because I'm that good. Oh man, but that's going to do it for this week's edition of the weekly wrap-up show. For Corey, Kyle, and Vince, I'm Brett. We'll catch you next week. We'll wrap up the entire season in a bow right before Christmas, right here on NETSN. Everyone have a great evening. Good night, everybody.
Get a scholarship.
Beast Texas.
Please.
Trying to get a scholarship.